how they got their James Beard Award, because they've contributed so many good flavors, so many different things to beer culture. Wah, wah.
Wow, I wish we had the sound effect. I wish I had, where you could do a drum roll or, the
Right.
cymbal crack or whatever. Oh, well. Maybe next time.
Yep.
Coming to you from the Beer to Whiskey Studios high atop Barley's Tap Room on Washington Street in downtown Greenville, South Carolina, I'm Russ Heaps, and welcome to this episode of Big John in 5. That's where I get my good buddy here, Big John Richards, the somewhat newly minted certified Cicerone, to pick a beer from one of Barley's 72 taps or 50 or 60 cans and bottles that they also have here. And we sniff it, we sip it, we kibitz about it. John tells us a little bit about the brewery, and sometimes we get a little brewing history all thrown in. John, what do we got?
We got a special kind of surprise for me too. So we've got a Jester King brew in front of us, and Jester King is one of the best breweries in the country. They've got a James Beard Award to their name, so it's not to be not to be trifled with.
Not to be poo-pooed.
They are primarily a farmhouse brewery, and they do a lot of this mixed fermentation and open fermentation stuff. And this is one of their mixed fermentations. This is a brand new beer. I couldn't even find it on their website. Called Estival Dichotomous, and it's a farmhouse ale brewed with watermelon. I did find that they use local hand pressed watermelon. They brought the watermelon into the brewery, hand pressed it, added it to a traditional farmhouse ale using a cultured yeast and a local wild yeast. And then it's a double fermentation, so they fermented it first on the watermelons and then a secondary fermentation in bottle, which could only mean they also did secondary fermentation to the keg. So drinking a double fermented farmhouse ale here, which is not totally out of the ordinary, to be honest with you. It's a more traditional method of making, especially Belgian style beers, almost always bottle conditioned. So we're in that right ballpark. But so we're looking at a little bit of that funky barnyardy aroma, flavor, some of that horse blanket and wet straw stuff. But then there's a real clean, meaty, juicy watermelon thing that's going on in there. It's really nice. I tasted this one the same day I tasted all the other things I'm going to talk about having tasted already.
John snuck in here on his own earlier this week and sampled
did some research.
Yes.
Some homework. So yeah, we tasted this one because they just wanted me to. So it's neat. I'm excited to really get into it and drink the whole thing, because if you know me well, there's only so much I'll comment on 2 ounces worth of beer. I gotta sit down with it and take some time to really experience what it is. So I'm very happy to do that with this one.
What's the ABV?
5.7. So it's on that lighter side of farmhouse ale. Still pretty sessionable at 5.7. I mean, you're getting up into reasonable strength where it's going to get your attention, but it's still not gonna. You can still get up and walk away after a couple.
Well, we're all for that. We're all for that.
That's what they tell me.
Well,
You're still.
text Miss Lily. Lots of a little bit of a sour note to it, and I told John before we rolled cameras, I sniffed it and said, "Boy, it's really got a barnyard smell, but it's got a little bit of a sour thing going on for me too."
That was very pleasant. It was actually more sour than I remember it from the little taste that I had, which is something if you know me well, I'm fairly famous for not making any comments about a beer after a little taste. I got to sit down and have a full pour, whether it be a 12 ounce or a 10 or a pint or whatever. But take some time with it, because beer changes as it warms, and it's supposed to. And this is really translating more sour than I remember, and I'm getting the fresh watermelon right up front, but the barnyard's bigger on the end. And I dig it. Like this is for me a really good hot weather beer because it's flavorful and big, but it's still clean enough and crisp on the finish that I could sit outside in the sun, just knock these back.
Jester King is in Texas. It's west of Austin, maybe southwest, but it's west of Austin and near a little town called Dripping Springs. And I've been there, and I have to say that when I was there, I looked at their beer list and I went, no, because it's all stuff like this. So I did have a beer because I had gotten an Uber from the hotel and gone all the way out there, and I was going to drink something. But these aren't the kind of beers that I'm wild about. But this is all right.
Still not, and you've come a long way since even a couple of years ago.
Right. But this isn't. There are a lot of things that I would order, even on the 15 or 20 taps they have up here, that I would order before I got to this.
Yeah. This is, I dig it. And, everything they do is going to have this funkiness to it. And that means that I'm in for one, and then I got to move on to something different.
Right.
It's just all my palate can take.
Yep.
But once I've learned to appreciate what it is, I can understand, and I understand why other people would want to take something like this out and dig into, an afternoon full of them. It's not the way my palate's wired. But this particular beer feels like a good hot weather beer for me. It's because of the way it's juicy up front and then funky in the back, and the acidity really cleans up the sweetness and even the funkiness of it.
Yeah, it's got a big mouthfeel though. I've got long after the taste has sort of evaporated, I've still got my tongue still feels the liquid on it.
It's really, yes, you're 100% right. It's coating.
Yes.
And that kind of makes me want to go back in for that second sip to get that acidity to punch me again. And Jester King's really good at making these very balanced beers where their flavors are not aggressive. Nothing about this is aggressive.
Not at all.
And the balance between the fruit and the funk and the acid and the sweetness is really, really nice. And that's how they got their James Beard Award, because they've contributed so many good flavors, so many different things to beer culture. Wah, wah.
I wish we had the sound effect. I wish I had, where you could do a drum roll or, the cymbal crack or whatever. Oh, well. Maybe next time.
Yep. That's good, Russ. Let's send these people on their way.
I guess so. So damn lucky. See you next time.